about them going through anything similar to what we have been.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna bring this script out.
That's where I got you.
I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna bring the script out. I'm gonna show you something.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 22. And I will make them one nation.
I will make them one nation
in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
Okay, so during history, when you read the book of Kings, okay, you had Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. That was the southern kingdom. And you had the rest of these tribes right here with the northern kingdom. It's split. You understand? These northern kingdom tribes, they went into captivity for idolatry. And a lot of they did all types of wickedness. Okay? Judah, Levi, and Benjamin was left in the land for a time, and they went into wickedness as well. You understand? So I'm showing you in the Bible that we are one nation, but they just split at one. That the history is they split at one particular time, and then they were going to be joined back together and be one nation. I'm gonna show you that in this, and then I'm gonna show you the history of Deuteronomy. And you can show me, you can let me know if the curses that I bring out in the book of Deuteronomy fit these Hispanics. Okay? Read that.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, and verse 22.
Read.
And I will make them one nation.
I will make them one nation
in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
Okay.
And one king shall be kings to them all.
And one king gonna be king to them all. That's Christ. Read.
And they shall no more be two nations.
They shall no more be two nations. Like I said in the book of Kings, you can read that information. Kings, 2 Kings, chapter 17. They split. Okay, it was the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Read.
Neither shall they be divided unto two kingdoms anymore at all.
They're not going to be divided into two kingdoms at all.
Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, or with their distasteful things.
So people shall defile themselves with their idols. Like I said, when you read the history, you see that the northern kingdom went into slavery for idolatry. They went off. Now, go to Deuteronomy. Now, you said that you don't see that these Hispanics. You don't see how the Hispanics intertwine with the blacks and the West Indians. You don't see how. Say again.
And what we went through in America.
What we went through in America.
How they line up with us.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So I just gave you. I asked you. I asked you a question. I said, what was the question I asked? I'll read it. Oh, did these people go into what we went into? All right. So they suffer the same thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that question I was gonna ask you before 1492, bro. Okay, before 1492, these Indians that were here, the Boricuas, the Taínos, the Aztecs, the Incas, were they speaking Spanish, bro? You wouldn't know? All right, let me run it.
Hey, you want to know why are we saying that these are our people? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are they mentioned at the very top of this panel?
Okay. Let's get it. Because it's all historical. Are you familiar with history of what happened to these people?
I'm familiar with history. I'm not familiar. Obviously, I'm not familiar with the Spanish history.
Okay.
And I do know that they were conquerors as well.
They were conquerors?
Yes, I do know that they imperialized certain countries.
You're talking about the conquistadors.
Right.
That's Europeans. We're talking about these tribes here. These are not conquistadors. Okay, we're talking about the native peoples of this land. How did they get there and where they come from, we're going to find out. Give me verse 49.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, the verse.
And like the soldier said, we're going to find out, does this fit the northern tribe, these Hispanics and native Indians, or not? Read.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
When the Native Americans was here alone by themselves, where did them Europeans come from? Did they come from across an ocean? So that fits them, right? They came from far. Go ahead.
From the end of the earth.
Far. Go ahead.
As swift as the eagle flies.
Stop. What's the symbol of America? The eagle. What was the symbol of the conquistadors that came over here and conquered them? The eagle, right. Right here. Right here. Right here. The eagle. They conquered the native Indians under the eagle. Read it from the top.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far,
From far, go ahead.
From the end of the earth.
From the end of the earth, go ahead.
As swift as the eagle flies.
Their symbol is the eagle when they conquered the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans. Go ahead. Who is Gad and Reuben and them. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Stop. When they came over here, did they understand the Spanish? No.
No.
Read it again. So this is
The Mexicans know their language, though.
What's their
Mexicans know
language?
They speak Spanish.
Is that their Is that their original language?
They know a language that is of them.
No, they don't. They speak Spanish, like you just said. That's not their original language.
Right.
Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Officer, read it again. From the top.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far,
From far, go ahead.
from the end of the earth,
Go ahead.
as swift as the eagle flies.
The symbol is gonna be the eagle when they conquer them. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Now they didn't understand Spanish. They had a document called the Requiremento, where the Spaniards, they would read it at night to sleeping villages. They go out and conquer them. That was the law of Queen Isabella. That was what was put in place. But they didn't understand the language. So you're reading a document to a people that can't understand you. They only know Spanish. Why? Because they were conquerors.
Right.
Just why do we know English?
Right. Get out.
Because we were conquered. Same thing, brother. Why do we, what's your last name if you don't mind me asking? Muhammad? Okay, that's an Arab last name, right? Okay. But the majority of us have what kind of last name? English last names in this land. Why do all the Native Americans here, why do they all have Spanish last names? Because they were, see that, so it does parallel. They have the last name Rodriguez, Cortez, what else is there? Vasquez. Why? Because they were conquered by the Spaniards.
Right.
We have last names like Johnson, Jackson, Brown.
Right.
Why? Because the English conquered us.
Right.
Same thing. What they did was they divided us. Okay, keep reading.
Verse 50. A nation of first continent.
So when they took the Native Indians and started chopping off their hands
Right.
and chopping off their nose and swiping with one swipe of the sword to cut them in half, that's a nation of fierce countenance.
Right.
That's a damn devil. Go ahead.
We shall not regard the persons of old, nor show favor to the young.
Read it again.
A nation of first continent,
A nation of fierce countenance.
which shall not regard the persons of old,
So did they slaughter the elders of the Native Indians?
Yes.
Read.
nor show favor to the young.
Did they show favor to the young? Because they had the young mining in the damn fields too.
Right.
Did they do that to the blacks here in America too?
Brother, I don't want to get off topic. You're talking about Indians. I'm talking about Hispanics. I need to know what's going on in Mexico. I need to know why we are aligning ourselves with Mexico.
But it's the same thing. That's what I'm telling you. These the same.
I understand it.
Hold on. Okay. The same thing that we're reading, I'm talking about the Mexicans too. I'm talking about these people on down. I'm talking about these so-called Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Guatemala, all these people right here, the same thing happened to them too. The same thing happened to the Mexicans too. That's not their native language. That's not their native. Their culture is not Catholicism. That's what their culture is today, the so-called Mexicans. That's not them. They were renamed and redefined, just as you was. You understand? Go ahead.
A nation
So,
of
when I'm talking about the so-called Native Americans, I'm talking about the Hispanics too, the so-called Mexicans. Go ahead.
a nation of first continent,
Uh-huh.
which shall not regard the persons of old,
Uh-huh.
nor show favor to the young, and he shall eat the fruit.
Stop. Read what you got.
This is the American Holocaust.
More history. So it's a good idea to get these books. Don't take our word for it. Go research the information for yourselves. That's what we're telling you. Research. Okay.
Page 65. So I went from the island to island.
Let's talk about Christopher Columbus. Let's see what Christopher Columbus, the Italian, under the Spaniards, documented when he came here. Okay.
Small and large throughout the Caribbean.
Uh-huh.
Wherever he went, Columbus planted a cross.
Planted in what?
Planted a cross.
What was the Spaniards? What religion was the Spaniards? Were they Catholics? Why are all the so-called Hispanics and Native Indians and Mexicans Catholics? Why?
Conquer.
Thank you. They were conquered. Why are the majority of us Baptists today in this land? Or Christian? Why? Same thing. So it does, the history does parallel. So one second, bro. Let me finish this and I'll let you speak. 1 second.
Making, as he said, the declarations that are required, and claiming ownership of the land for his royal patrons back in Spain.
Back in Spain, that's what they did. They came here and claimed the damn land that did not belong to them. The damn devils. Okay?
Despite the fact that Columbus noted in his own journal of the voyage
Columbus noted in his own journal what?
that the people of these lands do not understand me.
Wait a minute. They don't know. What was Columbus speaking when he came here? With the conquistadors? What were they speaking? They were speaking Spanish. So wait a minute. It's telling you they're not speaking Spanish. That language was given to them as we were given English today. Okay.
Nor I them.
Nor I them. Now, let me ask you a question. Slavery, give me Deuteronomy 28:68. And where's the black man? Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 68.
Listen to this, brother.
And the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again.
Stop. The word Egypt means slavery or bondage or captivity. Okay, when you read Exodus 20:2. Okay? So the Bible says God is going to bring you back into slavery.
With ships.
Wait a minute, with what?
With ships.
No. Not with what?
With
So-called black man in America today. Did it happen to the Native Indian? That's here.
I don't know if they got put on ships.
Let's read it. Now we're going to get the history. Hold the book up. Hold the book up and show it to me.
This is the book Black Indians,
By William Lorenz Katz. Read what you got.
page 26.
Let's see about Columbus again. Let's see what the first thing he did when he got here.
For the people of the Americas, the arrival of Columbus was hardly a blessing. On the first day,
What day?
on the first day,
The first day he docked his boat here in America, in American shores.
October 12, 1492, the explorer wrote in his diary,
What did he write this down?
I took some of the natives by force.
I did what?
I took some of the natives by force.
I took them by force. I put yokes of iron on their neck by force. I put them in slavery by this very first day. Keep going.
He later found the original habitants to be tractable,
Peaceable people.
and concluded, there is not in the world, there is not in the world a better nation.
There's not in the world a better nation. That's what Columbus is saying. Go ahead.
His response as a European
His response as a white man, the damn devil on earth,
was to say that the Indians must be made to work.
put their behinds in slavery. That's what Columbus did. He put them in slavery. We gotta make these people, they're the greatest people on the planet, but we gotta put them in chains. By the way, Columbus knew who they were when he got here.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And adopt our way.
And what?
And adopt our way.
Catholicism. The Mexicans gotta learn Catholicism. Go ahead.
The Christopher Columbus, whose unique seamanship and courage had opened the Americas to European penetration,
Penetration.
and also began the transatlantic slave trade.
Did you know the transatlantic slave trade began with the Native Indians? The transatlantic slave trade began with Gad, Reuben, Asher, Naphtali,
Right.
Issachar. It began with Christopher Columbus. That's 1492. Where were we in 1492? Oh, we was in Africa, on the west coast of Africa, correct? Read that part again. So they did go into slavery on slave ship. They went back to Spain. They were carrying them back to Spain.
This right here is the area. I'm concerned with. I think that
right there.
We're gonna answer.
Indians instead of Hispanics up here, then your point would have been
No. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
area is the area that I'm concerned with.
Which
And
area?
it's all
Point to
in
it.
Mexico, South America.
What about it?
What they saying is, before they would consider Mexico, that stuff, they were Aztec Indians, all of that stuff.
Indians.
And so what I'm saying is that everybody went through something off the white devil.
Everybody like who?
Everybody outside of them.
No. Everybody did not go through
Oh,
something.
okay, well I mentioned the 12.
We're concerned about the 12.
We're concerned about the 12. And in order for us to be successful, we have to make sure all 12 is on the same page.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we tell me. But all 12 is going to live in Israel.
Absolutely.
A place that is already occupied and going through war.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
my intelligence
Yes.
tells me that unless you put together a very concentrated plan to take that country, then you won't receive it.
Okay.
And so is it going to be given to you spiritually, or is it going
You
to
answered
be
that
man?
already, didn't you? He answered that for you already.
He answered that. So man is going to put together a plan to take a land that's already inhabited and
We're gonna get
already at
it.
war
We're gonna get it.
with Palestine.
Keep reading. We're gonna get it for you. I got your question.
The Christopher Columbus, whose unique seamanship and courage,
Seamanship.
and courage had opened the Americas to European
Where is it? Where is it? Penetration.
penetration.
Go ahead.
Also began the transatlantic slave trade.
So he began the transatlantic slave trade, putting people on boats and putting them into slavery. He started with the Northern Kingdom. Now, your next question was that land that's occupied, Joel 3. Joel 3. No, matter of fact, keep reading Deuteronomy 28 again.
The book of Deuteronomy,
That's
chapter
narrative.
28.
These are your people. But we don't know that because they look lighter than us. They look different than us. It's not about skin color. It's not about skin color or the texture of your hair, none of that. Because we can say we all look African. We got dark skin and woolly hair. But we're not Africans. Africans sold us into slavery.
That's right.
That's what the real Africans did. You understand? But for instance, the northern tribes, they left Israel and went into captivity in Assyria. So when we go into captivity, what happens? We begin to mix with different people, the people that conquer us.
right.
That's why they look lighter than us. They went into slavery before us. They went into slavery in 539 BC. That's when they started going into slavery. That was way before us, the darker skinned tribes, all right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into slavery again. The Lord is going to bring you into slavery again for breaking his laws as you're doing today. Go ahead.
With ships.
With ships. So that's the difference now. It's a type of slavery. We could say, hey, everybody was a slave, but guess what? The details of the slavery that you're going to go through only fits these people right here. That's how we know who these people are.
First one on the list,
Right?
First one.
Hold
Not
on,
all of
brother.
them.
Hold on.
With,
All of them. All 12. Go ahead.
with ships.
With ships.
By the way wherever I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
That means your homeland. You're never going to see your homeland again, meaning you're never going to rule that land again. You know why? For our own wickedness. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold.
Stop. Read it again.
And there
And there, when you get off the ships,
ye shall be sold.
you shall be sold. We were sold to our damn enemies.
That's right.
We weren't sold to our friends. Our friends didn't sell us. Our enemies sold us.
That's right.
Our enemies gave us our so-called culture today. Smoking cigarettes, selling drugs to each other, and hating and killing each other.
Right.
They gave you the culture you got. Read.
Unto your enemies. For-
Unto who?
Unto your enemies.
So the man that bought you off the Orchard slave block was your enemy. Guess what? Your employer is your enemy. You now today work for your enemy, for our own wickedness, go ahead. Including the Mexicans, go ahead.
For bond men
For slave man,
and bond women,
slave woman,
and no man shall buy you.
meaning no man could redeem you out of that curse, because we don't want to wake up and keep God's word. Joel 3. Now, I got your question. I'm going to answer Joel 3 and Isaiah 14:1.
The
Yeah,
book
give me
of
Isaiah.
Joel 3
Joel chapter 3, verse, give me 2.
and verse 2. I will also gather all nations.
Now, this is talking about the Most High God with the coming World War III. I'm going to gather all nations, go ahead.
And bring them down unto the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Valley of Jehoshaphat is in the Middle East. As you can see, nations are gathering there. There's always a controversy going on in the Middle East. Why? Because those people in that land, they're in a land that does not belong to them. That land belongs to you. But we don't know that. Why? Because of slavery. You understand? We don't know these things. Go ahead.
And will plead with them.
And with what?
And will plead with them.
And I'm going to plead with those nations, meaning I'm going to kill those nations.
There for my people.
For what?
For my people.
I'm going to judge those people there for my people.
And for my inheritance, Israel. For Israel.
I'm going to do that for Israel. So we ain't got to do a damn thing. You know what we got to do? We got to repent.
Right.
Let me ask you a question.
Wait idly, is that what you're telling me?
Hold
Wait
on, that's not what I said.
for
That's not what I said.
magic to happen?
That's not what I said. Let me ask you a question. When we got delivered out of Egypt, what did we do to get delivered out of Egypt? Yeah, what did we do?
I don't know.
We didn't do a damn thing. We didn't do nothing except gather our things, gather what the Egyptians had, and left and walked out.
So we
The Most High, hold on, brother, hold on, brother. What I'm saying, read it again. It's going to be yours. It's going to be yours. Yeah.
Verse 2, I will gather all nations and bring them down unto the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered, and have scattered.
They scattered us through the Atlantic slave trade. Before the Atlantic slave trade, they scattered us with the sub-Saharan slave trade, the Arab slave trade.
That's right.
Are you a Muslim? That's why you have to come out and come back to the Bible, because Islam does not teach our nationality according to the Bible.
Yeah,
You understand? But guess what? Farrakhan knows we're the children of Israel. He teaches that we're the children of Israel. So as the children of Israel, you got to put down those false idols and come back to your records. Read on.
Among the nations, and parted my land.
And what?
And parted my land.
So who's in the land of Jerusalem today? You got Arabs, and you got the fake Jews in that land. Read that part again. So this is a prophecy, brother.
And I will plead for them there, for my people, and for my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations.
Read on.
And parted my land.
They parted our land as is today. Go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people.
You know what it means to cast lots? That means auction slave blocks. Cast lots. Hey, what it is, you gotta find a young buck here, 200 pounds, going at $500. That's an auction. Go ahead.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
Remember, they turned our boys into breeders to make what? Super slaves. Read.
And sold a girl for wine.
And they sold our sisters for wine. Go ahead.
That they may drink.
Read.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me?
Listen close now.
O Tyre and Zidon.
Those are Africans. Tyre and Zidon are Africans. Real Africans, not you Negroes in the hood.
Right.
You are the children of Israel.
Right.
We're talking about real Africans now. Remember the topic. Real Africans.
And all the coast of Palestine.
Who's Palestine? The Palestinians. What are they? Arabs, right? So we're going to talk about Africans and Arabs right here. You got an Arab and an African. Let's see what the Arabs and the Africans are going to do.
Will ye render me a recompense?
Will you pay me back? How you going to pay me back? By putting my people in slavery?
And if you recompense me,
And if you put my people in slavery,
swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?
I'm going to pay you back for putting my people in slavery. Go ahead.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold,
Uh-huh.
and have carried unto your temple.
Guess what? You're the silver and gold of the Most High God. But we don't know that thing.
That's right.
We think we're Muslims, and we think we're Christians and Baptists and all kinds of foolishness. We're all in different man-made philosophies. Read.
My goodly pleasant things
You're the goodly pleasant things of the Lord, man.
of Judah
The children of Judah
and the children of Jerusalem
and the children of Jerusalem.
have ye sold unto the Grecians.
Who are the Grecians? Who are the Grecians? The white man. Remember, it's talking about the Arabs and the Africans. The what?
So the children of Judah and also the children of Jerusalem unto the Grecians.
Unto the Grecians, unto the damn white man. That's a Bible prophecy, brother.
Right.
So it's prophecy that, guess what? Deuteronomy 28:64. So you got your answer.
Got my answer.
All praises. One second. I'm gonna let you speak. Deuteronomy 26. I want you to hear another prophecy about you.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
That's the last slave trade. Once again, we're scattered to the four corners of the earth. We got people in Nigeria. We got people in Iraq. We got people in New Zealand. All over. Korea, Brazil, all over. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people,
Okay.
from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
Okay.
And there
And when you get to that new land, your new land of slavery,
thou shalt serve other gods.
read that part again for the brother.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Today you're serving another God. You're serving a rock. You're serving Islam or Allah. That's not the God. That's not your God. That's the God of the Arabs. That's an Arab philosophy.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Your fathers, our forefathers never knew nothing about Allah. We didn't know nothing about Muhammad. We're going to destroy that land. That land has to be cleansed because there's so much filth in there. Now you're having gay parades in that land. You understand? So we're not, that's what I'm saying, we're not physically going to have to do a damn thing.
We're going to be here while that happens, right?
Yes.
And so America's allies.
No, well, let me rephrase. You're not going to be here. You're going to die unless you repent.
That's right.
This is something super far in the future.
Yes.
This is something way.
Well, Lord's will it ain't. But the Lord, the Bible says that we don't know the time.
So that means do nothing now. That's what you're telling me.
Go back to Zephaniah 2:1.
And just live under the commandments, do nothing for myself.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Nothing for my people.
No,
So
we're not
sit
about
down
we're
and
not
wait.
about doing nothing. We're men of action up here.
That's right.
We're men of action. I'll show you.
Zephaniah
I'm
chapter
gonna show you what
2
we're supposed to do.
and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Do what?
Gather yourselves together.
These people have to gather themselves together. Yes. Here. Yes. Right here in America. Because if we gather ourselves together under God's laws, guess what? We would have our own business as we did in the past. We would stop killing each other. We would stop holding out our sisters. We would be a moral people. Are we a moral people today? Hell no.
We don't govern politics here. So gathering here under the chief devil, how much sense does that
Well, let
make?
me ask you a question. You said we don't gather under politics. Does the Chinese man in this land gather under politics?
For his country or for this country?
I said for this country. Yes or no?
Do they?
I'm asking you.
Not to the degree I think.
Exactly. So why are you telling us to go gather under politics? We're not gathering under the white man's system of politics. That's a white man philosophy. We're not gathering under that.
You can't do it here. You got to do it somewhere else. But you can't do it in Israel right away. You got to do it
What
somewhere
is your
else.
point with that? Why are you telling me
My
that?
point is that you're patiently waiting for God to deliver you something when you can deliver it yourself.
How are we going to deliver ourselves?
Organize yourself as a government, purchase land in Africa, and establish yourself.
And where?
As a country.
Where?
In Africa, on that continent.
Why? Why in Africa?
Because it is where you're originally from as a black man.
Galatians. Galatians 4 and 16. Find a business. Galatians 4 and 16.
26.
You're telling me that they took me from the Middle East. I had nothing to do with Egypt at all. My black people, yes.
Yeah, you had something to do with
I had
Egypt.
nothing to do with that.
Yeah, you did.
Every time
You
it's
did.
mentioned is about letting white people out of slavery.
You did.
There's no history mention of what we did there. The only
Yeah,
time
yeah.
it's mentioned in the Bible is about letting white people out of slavery.
Letting white people out of slavery.
I
What
hear,
scripture is
all I
that?
see
What scripture is that?
is Moses setting people free.
That's not white people. That's you and your
That's-
forefathers, brother.
So I'm being
That's your
taught,
forefathers.
I'm being taught that the land that I built enslaved me.
What land you built?
In Egypt.
What land you built?
Egypt.
You built Egypt in slavery, brother.
Yeah.
You didn't build it off your own free will.
So the
You
white
wasn't the
people,
king.
White people made me build the pyramids. That's
White
what you're telling me.
I didn't say anything about white people.
Whoever it is, it's not me. You're telling me it's not me.
Galatians.
Listen to the Bible.
Galatians chapter 4 and verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
The Bible says Jerusalem is free. We're talking about Jerusalem, the Middle East. Free.
Which is the mother of us all.
So Africa's not your motherland. Egypt ain't your motherland.
Right.
You was in Egypt as a slave. That's where you was. That's where. Yes, you built that in slavery, as we all did.
For who?
We built that for the Egyptians.
Who were the Egyptians?
Ham, Africans, real Africans.
Black people, right?
No. What are you
So
talking about?
there's a difference between black people and Africans. That's what you're saying. There's a difference between black people and Africans.
Yes, it's a difference between these people and the Africans. Yes, you ain't no African, as I said earlier. The real Africans enslaved you behind and sold you to the white man, as we read in Joel chapter
They
3.
went to Israel. Africans went to Israel.
No, they did
enslaved
not.
me and sold me out. That's
no.
what you're saying. It's gotta make sense to me, brother. So you're saying Africans went to Israel and sold me.
Did I just say no? I told you no. Just wait. I'll answer
So
your
they sold
question.
me from Africa, right?
Yes, they did.
So, but I'm not from there, right? That's
I'm
what you're
gonna,
telling
I'll
me.
explain to you.
They sold me from there, but I'm not from there.
You're repeating the same thing again.
Because
I
I
said
don't
I'm
think
going to
you're
explain to you.
Go ahead, break it down.
Read.
Exodus chapter 11 and verse
Then give
7.
me Luke 21.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue,
The dogs are the other nations. Go ahead.
against man or beast,
Go ahead.
that they may know that the Lord doeth with a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
The the Lord put a difference between the Egyptians or the Africans and the Israelites. You ain't no African. The real Africans sold you into slavery over here.
Right.
That's what the real Africans did. They sold you. Now give me Luke 20.
Israel, right?
No, they sold you for the west coast of Africa. I'm going to explain.
how do I
I'm
get
going
into
to
it?
explain. I can't explain if you're talking. Be quiet. Don't get emotional, brother. Calm down. Verse 20.
Luke
So
chapter
now,
20.
I got a question for y'all. I said we're not Africans. How do we get into Africa? Because we were taken from the west coast of Africa and brought here as slaves. That's historical fact. How do we get into Africa? Let's find out.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem
So we're talking about Jerusalem, Middle East. Go ahead.
compassed with armies,
Compassed with army. What armies was around back then in Christ's time? The Roman armies.
right?
That's who, the white man. That's who was governing over us. Once again, for our own wickedness. Go ahead.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
They know that destruction is coming. When you see Jerusalem compassed by the Roman armies, know that destruction is coming. Go ahead.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Stop. It says, them which are in Judea, flee to the mountains. Where are those mountains located? Matthew 2 and 13. Where did Christ run? When Christ was a baby and Herod was trying to kill him. Where did he run? Brother, do you know? Right here. Do you know? Anybody know? He ran to Egypt. Where's Egypt located? Oh, wait. If Christ was a white baby, would it be smart for him to run into a land of black people? That's stupid as hell. I'm from the Bronx, right? If I live around black people, I'm running from the cops. Am I gonna run to Chinatown or am I gonna run to Brooklyn? I'm gonna run to Brooklyn where there's other black people to hide.
That's right.
It's simple. Read.
Matthew chapter 2 and verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt.
Flee into Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, a black land with black people with woolly hair. Christ was not a white man. Now go back. Luke 21 and 20 again.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 20.
Just calm down. It's all going to make sense when I'm done.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem
So we're talking about Jerusalem again.
compassed with armies,
Uh-huh.
then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Go ahead.
Let them which are in Judea
In Judea, Jerusalem
flee into the mountains.
of Africa, the interiors of Africa, flee, because the Romans are coming. You can hide in Africa amongst other dark-skinned people. Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst, of it depart out.
Go ahead.
And let not them that are in the countries therein enter therein too.
Go ahead.
For these be the days of vengeance.
These be the days when the white man comes against you in Jerusalem. These are the days of vengeance. Why?
That all things which are written
All things that are written in Deuteronomy 28th chapter,
may be fulfilled.
because this prophecy has to fulfill that you're going to go into slavery on slave ships.
Right.
That's a part of the prophecy. Because remember, we ran into Egypt now. We ran into Africa. Where did we gather? The west coast of Africa. Where did the white man take us from? The west coast of Africa and brought us to America. Keep reading.
But woe unto them that are with child.
Go to verse 24.
24.
Listen, listen.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
The Israelites, our forefathers, fell by the edge of the sword. They were murdered, killed. It's called the siege of Jerusalem. You could Google it. That's what you got to do. Google it. Jerusalem, 70 AD, the siege of Jerusalem. Google it. Okay.
And shall be led away captive into all
See
nations.
that, brother? Prophecy fulfilled with the Atlantic slave trade. Read what you got. No.
This is a history book.
Now we're going to get it in history. Now we read it, biblical history. Now we're going to get more history.
This is Babylon, the 10th book, page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Captured Jerusalem. Same thing we just read in there. Go ahead.
In 70 AD,
Now from 65 BC to 70 AD,
General Vespasian and his son Titus
General Vespasian and his son Titus.
put an end to the Jewish state.
You can also Google that. It's called the Ark of Titus. What they did, they put it in their archaeology. They made monuments to what they did to our forefathers. Google it. Ark of Titus. And it showed how they ran into our temple and took all the gold and silver out. Google it. Just, you got smartphones? Just Google it. Go ahead.
With great slaughter.
With what?
Great slaughter.
So they was murdering us. Go ahead.
During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrageous and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Because everybody didn't run into Africa. Some of our forefathers are hard-headed as hell. Right. Whatever, man. Yeah, whatever, Christ. Yeah, we gonna stay here. The Romans, you know, they're our buddies, our friends. But they put them to death. Go ahead.
During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
Oh, fled into where, brother?
Fled into Africa.
Fled into where, brother?
Into Africa.
1 million Jews, your forefathers, left Jerusalem and ran into Africa. That's how you got there. Go ahead.
That's right. From Roman persecution.
That's the reason why.
Slavery.
And what?
And slavery.
Now, go to page 116. Read. Where is it? Right there. These right here.
These black Jews would naturally go to African countries.
Why? Why would they go to African countries, brother?
Most of all, because of less persecution, and they could disguise themselves easily among blacks.
That's how you ran into Jerusalem.
Right.
That's right, Africa, brother. And you settled on the west coast of Africa. You got your answer?
Got my answer.
More praise.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.